I need you to hold the mic like a little closer to you. Yeah, maybe. I don't know what I'm doing. You're probably more knowledgeable at this than I am.
I don't know. I rely on other people for audio engineering skills.
God. Okay.
I think we're good.
Hey, let's talk.
I never know how to start these.
Great. We can always cut out this entire thing. We can cut it. We can start fresh. Take 2. And action.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Isabel Pacey, and you're listening to Collective Sound. And I have a really special guest with me. I know I say that every time, but this one's special. And his name is Nathaniel Banks.
Hi.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi. Thank you for having me, Isabel. Quite the honor. I am Nathaniel. What else do they need to know?
Usually I make people do it like they're introing themselves freshman year of college.
Okay.
So you're like, hi, this is my name, this is my age, here's a fun fact about me.
Okay. Freshman year. Hello. My name is Nathaniel Banks. I'm 18 years old. I'm from Fairfax, Virginia.
18 years old.
I'm majoring in saxophone performance.
Yeah.
And I like to run and write songs.
That was a beautiful intro.
Thank you.
I think that really encapsulates a lot about you.
That's pretty much all there is. Yeah.
That's not true.
Podcast over.
I need to paint a picture right now also for the audience. Nathaniel walked into my house this morning. It's 3:45. This afternoon in an all-white outfit. And Libby, my roommate, goes, "You look like you just came from heaven." And you kind of do. That's the vibe you're giving off.
Well, I did this thing where I have like a dry erase marker set. And I used a like medium brown as my like sort of eyeliner right here, just like a tiny bit.
I was gonna ask.
So it's like clearly working because I look like I just came from heaven. So I think I did a good job with my dry erase markers.
Okay, so Nathaniel and I met 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago. And I forced him to let me interview him for a school project. And then we've been friends since.
Forced. Against my will.
Against his will. I kidnapped him, and I brought him to Cafe Coco, and I forced him to sit there for hours.
That sounds accurate.
And I found the interview right now. So I'm going to play some of it.
Oh, no.
I'm scared. I remember listening back to it and being like, I'm so annoying. It's an hour.
Welcome to my whole career.
I have an hour and 21 minutes of us just talking.
Maybe the podcast should be just that. We
so
play
guys,
it into the
anyway,
mic for 2 hours.
I don't even put the real audio. I just play it in the mic like this. Let's skip to the middle. The beginning's probably really awkward, right?
The end of the tour. Now I'm trying to even remember what that was.
I think it's some movie about like someone who interviews people, or like a journalist. You were trying to relate it to me.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And I pretended like I knew what it was, but I definitely didn't.
Of being like, this music is really good, people should hear it. And I was like, really? Cool, okay. Yeah, well that's what I've always wanted to make a band. I just wasn't sure if
Talking about George Miller.
music, and it was
Shouts to George Miller.
Okay, I'm gonna skip 40 minutes in and just see what happens.
like to just be really, really emotionally honest in my lyrics, because I could otherwise just like spew out songs for days, It didn't have to be. I didn't have to be like digging into something that felt like.
All I can really listen to is Cafe Coco existing in the background.
You think you're annoying? I sound really annoying.
You weren't that annoying.
I'm being really emotionally honest in my lyrics.
Shut up. I think we both were really awkward then. I mean, it was a weird thing for us to walk into.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still pretty awkward.
I'm also really awkward. So, also, I have like a question I've been dying to know.
Uh-huh.
Is your living room still painted? Your walls? with the
Yes.
primary colors?
Yes, not all primaries. Been working on it a bit more.
Really?
Yeah, a couple friends have come over and helped continue the project. It's like probably just gonna keep evolving and shifting colors as long as I live there.
I love it. Has your landlord found out?
He has no idea.
No idea.
No, but he just doesn't really care. I think he probably is just planning on tearing the house down and selling the lot for a bunch.
Yeah, which makes
So
sense.
he doesn't
Good
care as much
location.
about the house. Yeah.
Okay. Do you still have a roommate?
Yeah.
Hi.
Nikhil is, and he's been the ideal roommate because he's not been here for all of quarantine.
Really?
And of course it's nothing personal, Nikhil. I just like listen. I like living
If you're
alone.
listening to this.
I like to live alone and have someone pay for half of it.
Yeah. You've you've lived alone for a long time, right?
Right.
Makes sense.
Right.
How was quarantine?
The only
How have
thing
you been?
better than living alone is living alone and having someone pay the rent.
Yeah, that's true. You're kind of living the perfect life.
What was the question?
How is quarantine? I haven't seen you. So also for the audience, we haven't seen each other since in like a year, right?
No way.
Yahweh. Yeah, because when I saw you, I hadn't started my job. And next week is 1 year at my job. My new job.
Whoa.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
But that's like part of the quarantine time
No,
passage
exactly. Half
thing.
of that is quarantine.
It
So-
feels like, it
I
doesn't
know.
exist.
So how is quarantine? What have you been up to?
It's been crazy because like, I feel like I haven't seen anyone in Nashville since like November.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I was traveling in December. I was in like LA and New York, December, January, February, and then came back and quarantine hits like within 2 weeks. So
You said, well,
it was very strange. And then my band and I started working together more than we ever really had in the past on the recording side of things. So I had all these songs that I had been working on in some form like all of the past 2 years and like trying to finish. And then we got to a point where I'd been set up with these producers who were, successful producers, like respectable producers who I like a lot of the stuff they produce. And, those were very educational experiences, but they also, one of the things that it taught me was that I have to produce my own music in order for it to be Arlie.
yeah.
It's part of what makes Arlie. Is just my particular stylistic sensibilities.
Yeah. 1000%.
But I also picked up a lot of like straight up craft, so it was pretty cool.
Nice.
And I don't feel like it was time wasted. But then the band kind of came to me with like, look, like we want to be part of this process more, and we know that like you've been stuck working with these producers, like we know your vision more than any of them do. We've played these songs with you and like get how your brain works more than any of these people do. Let us help you finish it, and we'll finish the album ourselves. And this was before quarantine hit, so it's like the plan was to finish it in 1 month.
Holy crap.
And then I was supposed to be in LA with the mixer in
yeah.
March. That actually quarantine was like the biggest blessing for me because
Yeah.
it bought me all the time that was needed to finish the record. And it was like kind of forced the band and I to bond and get closer and learn how to
Aw.
work together,
Yeah.
which after having been apart from them for like a while, it was like pretty cool. It wouldn't have happened nearly as quickly, sort of like strengthening our relationships and like workflow. There's no way that it would have happened like this if it weren't that we were like stuck together and couldn't see anyone else.
Only each other. That's incredible. We should probably backpedal a little bit. Will you tell everyone about Arlie, how you guys met, who you are? Just like a Spark Note version. We don't have to get super
Spark
deep.
Note version. So Arlie, oh right. Well, I had made the solo project in like college and I hated it, and everyone was like, well, I was playing shows and people were liking it, but it didn't feel like the kind of thing that I could go promote with all of my energy because I didn't believe in the music and it didn't feel like what I would want to listen to.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like something worth pouring my heart and soul into. So I just gradually started figuring out how to produce and like how to make stuff that I would want to listen to, and it just took
Yeah.
a few years of experimenting and messing it up. And then in 2016, by that point I had like 9 or 10 fully produced like demos that felt like an album. And then, you know, brought in this guy George, who was a big believer and like encouraged me a lot from the beginning, and was part of what launched Arlie from being just like a bedroom project into being a band. And from there we met Adam through this mutual friend Robert Scott, who's the guy whose farm we had our festivals at.
Right. Wisteria.
Yeah, Wisteria, and the predecessor, which was just called Scutfest after Robert Scott. Yeah, so he was a mutual friend, and then we like needed a drummer and someone who knew how to run Ableton and work a bunch of gear that we weren't great at, and he turned out to be perfect.
Love it.
For that, and then not to mention being immensely skilled at like everything else there is.
Man of many trades.
Shouts to Adam. Yeah, and then Carson, who was just like at Vanderbilt too, and like looking for just like any kind of band that was doing something interesting, and heard I guess we hadn't called it Arlie yet, but he heard the music and was like, I want to be part of that, and he joined, and then we like started. We found the name. This is not Spark Notes. This is like the full book.
No, that's okay. I want it all. So Carson came in.
Carson came in. He was great, and we had this guy Tommy playing with us too. And then what else? We like have shifted members since then. So now it's now we've got Ryan Savage playing bass, and he's been a big part of the production process too.
Cool.
So somehow it's gotten into a flow where like the three of us are co-producing like the latter like 25% of the record.
Nice.
And we just got the mixes to a place where we feel decent about them, like as of a couple of like maybe like 4 or 5 days ago.
Dang, that's exciting.
And it should be exciting, right?
How does it feel?
For me, it feels so weird. And
Why?
like I don't know what to do with myself. Like I'm spinning my wheels, like I need to be working on the album. And
Makes
then
sense.
it's like out of my hands because I can't do anything because it's just in the mixer's session at this point.
Yeah.
Plus, you know, you get into this mindset of like fixing problems, and as you become more and more familiar with the music, you know its intricacies very well, and you know everything that's there, and you can just like, when you're in this like critic mode of like looking for problems, you can just infinitely find problems.
Yeah.
And
They never end, do they?
No, and so like I realized like that I learned this last time with the EP, where I went insane tweaking mixes, making things that were probably insubstantial differences, and in some cases possibly making things worse. I've learned from that that I need to like right now take a break from the music, not listen to them for like a week,
Yeah.
come
Give
back
him some air.
and like then I can trust my ears again. Right now I don't trust my ears.
No, that's okay. You've been living with them for a long time. Because some of them I heard like when we first met, like 2 years ago, right? That one you
Right.
sent me has been around for a
Sick.
while.
Sick has been around since like
Sick
early 2019.
slaps. I love Sick.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I really like that song. How do you feel album as a whole? Like with the end product. I mean, I know we don't have the end product yet, but the songs that made it, how are we feeling? Themes, what's going on? Don't want to give too much away, you know.
Well, yeah, you know, I think like when you're in this stage, it's like I'm alternating pretty heavily between like I'm so excited about this and feeling like this completely sucks.
Yeah.
Um
That's me with anything I do.
yeah.
Like this podcast, this is so great. This is going so well. In like 3 days, I'm gonna hate it.
This particular podcast.
Not that I would hate anything that you're on. Don't take this personally.
I'm taking it completely personally.
Don't take it personally.
You're like
I'm just gonna end it here and just insert the voice memo of us the first time we met.
we always have that as our backup option.
You're right. They'll never know. The audience will never know.
We have a lot of backup options. We could play like the Backstreet Boys for
What
like,
if we did?
an hour.
I would probably get copyrighted.
Yeah? Do they do that? Do they
I
not
have-
let you play people's songs?
I have no, not really. Kind of. It depends who you. I think it
'Cause
depends.
I guess that's why people use like. I always hear these podcasts that are using stuff from the Logic sample library,
No, absolutely.
and it must be because they don't have the rights.
I think whoever you do distribution through, they like scan for it.
Right.
Like when I first did mine, my like intro song got like flagged, but I said, "Bro, that's mine."
And it was one of your friends that made the music, right?
Yeah.
And did it get flagged because your friend had released that?
No,
Maybe?
because it's just for me.
It wasn't
Like
even
they
released. How did
the
they
song.
flag you?
I have no idea. I think because it just sounded professional. I don't know. Like it sounded like something maybe.
Huh.
I don't know, but I ended up getting it through. It was fine, but craziness.
We're dealing with a similar struggle trying to get the Windows 95 sample cleared.
Really?
It turns out Brian Eno wrote it.
Really?
And so I'm not
I
sure.
wouldn't have known.
No, I would not have known either. He apparently got really into composing like 3-second pieces after that. He like they assigned him, they like told him to write something that was like 3 seconds for Windows, and then apparently he just wrote like 80 different options and just got like super inspired by like the form of like 3-second songs.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The more you know. Could you ever see yourself doing that? I feel like you could do that.
Adam and I have been talking about it.
Really?
Like making an album of like 3-second songs.
Under like a different name?
Maybe.
Or just release it as Arlie.
Yeah.
Who's gonna, your fans will gobble that up.
Probably. People's attention spans, are always shrinking. So like this could be the next
This could be the next big thing. You could be a
we could be
trailblazer.
the next big thing in shrinking people's attention spans.
Just feeding into our already bad social problems.
Yeah.
Wow, that would be something, wouldn't it?
Could be the next big problem.
Did you ever, on Disney Channel, the next big thing, do you ever remember that? They'd play it like between commercials.
What was it?
Maybe no. It was just called like the next big thing. I don't even know now that I'm mentioning
Oh, were
it.
they like artists singing
Right,
songs?
yes.
Yeah.
And it was like NBT, next big thing.
NTB, Nathaniel Thomas Banks. National
Okay.
Tire and Battery.
That's a lot of
Am
information.
I blowing your mind? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
forgot what your middle name was, and that just like repressed a deep memory of mine. Of you telling me that. I don't know why.
I don't know.
Anyway,
What's yours?
Grace.
Yeah. Isabel Grace Pacey. That's got a nice little like
Doesn't it?
internal rhyme.
A little Candace to it.
Grace Pacey. Yeah.
Yeah. Only my mother and my sister call me that.
They
My
call you
sister,
Grace?
like,
Or they call you Isabel,
Isabel
Grace.
Grace. My sister
Oh,
says it in
cool.
like a loving way, and my mom says it either when she's like, "Ugh, Isabel Grace."
Yeah.
Never
Or
when she's mad.
No. Like,
No, never when she's mad, but just like always like a, "Ugh, come on, like when I'm being kind of dumb,
right. Right.
or having my like 15th meltdown of the week. She's just like, God,
Right.
go outside,
Yeah.
Anywho, I have a lot of questions for you,
Okay.
so I'm just gonna take us off rail and just back
Should we
into
get the
my questions.
strawberritas first?
Yeah, we should.
Have we
Hold on.
both finished?
No, I haven't finished yet. I
you're
was pacing myself.
slow.
Should we address how you way back when Nathaniel and I were friends 2 years ago? Well, we're still friends, so that's why I think we weren't friends anymore.
Freudian slip.
So when we first met, he ran over his phone with his car.
Oh yeah.
Right? Or
Yeah,
was
that's
your keys?
true.
Yeah.
I
Ran
lost my
over-
keys in LA. I ran over my phone with my car before that.
Right, and didn't have a phone for a couple months,
Mm-hmm.
which was really an interesting time for us to communicate.
Right.
I
I
would-
didn't realize that was when we met.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we were doing an interview where I didn't have a phone.
No,
to get...
we interviewed before that.
Okay, yeah. But we hung out
We hung out
when I didn't have a
you
phone.
smashed your phone.
Great.
I just remember being at your house and like calling you because you would just communicate through your laptop.
Mm-hmm.
And I like called you. I texted you. I was like, I'm here, and no one was answering the door. All the lights were off,
Oh.
and I was just like really confused. And then you were buying cigarettes at the gas station down the street.
This is where we get the idea
you
that I'm an
remember
asshole.
I-
I
And
was
now-
buying cigarettes at the
This
gas
is-
station.
This is why I brought you
Why,
here.
no
We're
pro-
gonna address how you were an asshole to me.
That does sound like an asshole type of behavior. When you put it that way.
This is a mess. This whole thing is a mess.
I like this pod.
Okay.
Next question.
Yeah. This is a great segue. Who would you say is the first artist or band that made you fall in love with music? Or made you want to do music?
Oh. Okay. That made me want to do music or made me fall in love with music?
Can we do both?
Yeah. Fall in love with music. It was one of those, like, hymns, like, oh, yeah. As the deer panteth for the water, so my soul longeth after you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably something like one of those. But
That's great. So that made you fall in love with music.
Yeah.
What made you want to do music?
Like,
/ when did you know
like,
that
get,
you were
like more seriously do music?
Mm-hmm. That you were like, this is what I'm going to do with my life. This is going to be my 9 to 5.
It was just always this thing where I was like, I know it's like in me to be one of those people that just like does music for their career, but for a while I thought I was going to be like a guitarist. That was the first like conception that I had of me as like a musician. It's got to be some of the stuff in middle school though, or like early high school, and we used to play like Switchfoot songs and like mixed with like the Strokes and like we did like Blitzkrieg Bop, like the Ramones, and then we did Reptilia. It was so cool. That was one of those things. Oh man, I was like, this guitar riff combined with this bass line, and it was like the way that it was woven together, where it just kind of like clicked in my mind that this stuff that I've been learning in like classical piano and saxophone lessons was like connected to this thing that was like really cool in rock and roll. And there was still this like component of like counterpoint and like but there was something way more exciting about the Strokes, and I didn't know what it was at the time. But
would you say, do you think they influenced your music now, or who would you say like influences your music most now?
Well, the Strokes were cool to me because even though I don't like strive for their aesthetic, I really fuck with the way that they were like recontextualizing sort of like simple songwriting of the 60s, I feel like, but within this like Brooklyn rebellious thing that was very like iconic. I mean, and like, but I didn't even know anything about culture at that point. I was purely just hearing the music. And that was cool enough for me. And it's cool to me that I didn't have to know how cool they were, like, culturally. I could hear the music and be like, they're fucking
still made
cool.
it impact. Yeah, absolutely. Like, they could have been no ones, and you still would have been like, that's so sick.
Right.
That's incredible.
But as far as, like, now... Wait, well, what exactly was your question?
Who influences your music now?
Oh, yeah. Well, like, it's kind of just, like, now I'm trying to connect the, like, lineage. And I've always had this, like, dream of making, like, my own chart. At first I thought someone else would have this chart, but I realized nobody really has this chart of just, like, how every, musical, like, thing influences everything else and, like, this interconnected web that goes throughout time. And, like... I've always wanted to, like, really do a good job of that. There's definitely some people out there who've done a good job of it, but it could be done even more thoroughly than anything I've seen. Because, like, everything in culture is just constantly interacting with each other. And then there's the fact that there's this kind of thing that is sometimes called the collective unconscious, where people are thinking of the same things at the same time without even hearing each other. Because of a million different unknown factors.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Kind of scary.
So then that's how I feel like whenever people are asking me my influences, it's like there's this big web of things that have like just made their way into my brain.
Yeah. I think that's the perfect answer. It's the perfect answer to my question. Like with that, who would you say like you're the biggest fan of? Like you're like this band, ride or die.
Like right now, who am I the biggest fan of? Sonically, I'm into like... And just, like, attitude, I'm into, like, Blood Orange. And, like, artistically and, like, energetically, I'm into, like, Donald Glover.
Okay, yeah.
And then...
How could you not?
He is, like, my hero. But just, like, as far as what I'm most influenced by, like, or I'm the biggest fan of... Oh, man. there's so many different like types of things that I admire about different types of artists. But I guess I think I've like almost fanboy for the things that I don't understand.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Get that. Mm-hmm.
Because there's this mystery, and it's like the mystery isn't there for like the type of artist that I am.
Yeah.
So those more
yeah.
similar to me don't impress me as much because I like have a sense of what it's like to make the type of music. So like people that make a very different type of music than me. So like I was just like going through a phase of like fanboy, R.I.P. Juice WRLD. I was just like, and like Tyler the Creator too. Like I just like fan out because I just don't understand. I don't come from that world.
No.
So to me, it's just like this magical, like unfathomable thing, especially watching them freestyle and like the way that music and lyrics just flow out of them.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of people that I'll just like fanboy about. And like James Blake will just like take me to a different world.
Very talented.
I think I still am a fanboy of Tame Impala. I think that hasn't gone away, even though he's somebody that inspired me to like validate the idea that like we have to give up a little bit of this mystery when we become artists.
Yeah.
And it's just like because you just switch sides, you're on the other end of it, and it's like there is magic there, but when you're in the opposite position, you also know that you're just like a human.
Yeah.
So they're not superhumans.
No, 1,000%. Yeah.
But reading Tame Impala's feature, his like Pitchfork feature that he did, and he was talking about that, and it was like really inspiring to me in a way that's like, yeah, it was like very real and very magical at the same time, and very honest. And he also talked about this like thing that was very, very inspiring to me, which is just like the idea that, you know, he kind of grew up like in the alternative scene, underground psych scene in like Australia, and like feeling like this sense of the people making alternative music are like down to earth music, and it's like those are the people that are really down to earth and real, and like versus like pop music, and they're like fake and just want attention, and you know, just like selling out, and that dichotomy. And he said like, you know, it's like I got into the industry and started like meeting these types of people, and I realized it's not like that at all.
Yeah, 100%. How has like being in the industry and being an artist changed your perspective of all of that?
Yeah, massive perspective shift. First of all, the fact that you just like idealize, the sense that like some people have it and some people don't. That starts to go away when you start to like be around a scene like there is in Nashville. Yeah. And then see people that get past the industry gatekeepers, and some people that don't. And there's a whole spectrum of people. There's not like a hard line of like, these are the type of people that can really do it, and these are the type that can't. And also you realize like within the industry, there's so many different types of artists that like approach it like a very different way. But there's like, again, it's like a spectrum. It's not a dichotomy where like some people, like the spectrum from like Mean Girls to like Kyle Mooney deep cuts.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. Yeah.
Where it's like all these things are great. Like these are great in very different ways.
100%. I think it's super interesting, like the super, I wouldn't say stereotype, but like the crap like quote unquote pop music will often get of just like, it doesn't deserve to be as respected because it's just like fun, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that weird stereotype of like pop music being easy. But like I have found myself in the last couple of years really like diving into just very mainstream pop music and being like, it's not that easy. No, like it's not as easy as writing a hit song, and like that's hard. And I like respect pop artists so much more now than I think I did in my like dumb like middle of high school age. You know, when you're like, I'm a cool kid. But I think there's so much more merit in pop music than people give it, and so much more respect that pop artists deserve than what they get, if that makes sense.
I would agree.
Right?
I would totally agree. And like, you know, those memes, like the sort of like mind expansion memes, where there's like,
Absolutely.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And like, there's something like that happens where it's like liking pop music when you're like in middle school, and then like being in high school and being like, oh yeah, Arcade Fire and Radiohead,
Exactly.
and then getting
Exactly.
into like college and later in college, and you're like, oh shit, Taylor Swift, like fuck. Like,
Gosh.
yeah.
Her new album, can we talk about it? Have you listened to her new
Not
album?
really, because I haven't spent really. I haven't made it through the whole. I haven't made it through the whole album yet.
You're so great, and I care about you so much. But what the frick?
No, here's
What?
the thing. We have to. First of all, I'm like a low content diet.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
Low
I'll
content
give you
diet.
that. I'll give you that.
There's
It's
just
so
you
good.
get you get obese when you consume all of the content.
I get it.
But also there's another factor, which is wait till the hype dies down, then listen to it
I get that.
and have an unbiased.
I understand that.
Opinion.
Well,
But-
when you finally listen to the whole thing, let me know, because I'd love to discuss it.
We should.
I'm like,
yeah, definitely.
I've loved Taylor Swift since I was like in the like 3rd grade or whatever when she like first came up. But like this album, like holy moly,
Yeah.
I really love it. Okay,
Yeah.
but I'll listen to it later when you have
I just
time.
like I hear Taylor Swift now and I'm like mad respect, but I can't listen to it as a fan. I can only listen to it as a songwriter and be
that I
like,
get.
oh, like I picture like
songwriting?
I'm picturing them in a room with her and whoever she's working with, and them like coming up with the idea and then tweaking it and bouncing back and forth,
Yeah,
and then
that's true.
deciding it
Yeah.
and then delivering it in like, I don't know, I can't unhear that. Like,
That's
but
true.
the thing, like, yeah, like as a fan or even just like me, like 5 years ago would hear it and just experience it as a song, but I can't do that.
No, that's valid.
At least not right now. Maybe I'll just.
Does that ruin a
it'll
lot of
probably
music for
catch
you?
it. Yeah.
Really?
But it sometimes will catch me when I'm not thinking about it, and then it'll impact me the way that it's supposed to.
Okay. If I'm the furthest thing from a songwriter. Like
Yeah.
like songwriter over here, I'm the opposite spectrum. But if I ever could like a song I wish I wrote, All Too Well, Taylor Swift.
Okay, great song.
So good.
Yeah.
Every part of that song, brilliant.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll pass the question on to
Favorite
you.
part of the song? Do you have a favorite?
The bridge.
Okay.
You called me up again just to break me like a promise?
Yeah.
So casually cruel in the name of being honest?
Yeah.
Or maybe we got lost in translation. Maybe I asked for too much. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. And I think any person can feel that so deeply. But like in past experiences I have,
Mhm.
I'm like which is really funny. The last person I had on this podcast, we had a very long conversation about this. And I'm a 4 on the Enneagram, which I hate the Enneagram with like most of my being, but I am a 4, and everyone says, oh, that's such a 4 thing for you to like hate the Enneagram, which whatever. But
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
you know, are you a 4?
I'm a 4-wing 3 or a 3-wing 4. One of the two.
Okay. I hate. We can get into that later.
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts about the Enneagram, but
Right.
I think as being a 4, I'm someone who just has like such extreme emotions and like feels things so deeply. So that song just like very puts into words like things that I have felt so extremely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I love it so much.
Yeah. Those are the best ones.
And like that
it like
song
puts into words like a thing that you didn't even know how to
Yes.
say that you felt.
Exactly. And that song, All the Windows Down, car driving,
Yeah.
nothing like it.
No kidding. Yeah.
If there was a song that you wish you wrote, what is it?
A song that I wish I wrote, like, I'm just trying to think of the songs that have brought people the most joy.
That's
like
sweet.
I don't know, like what even, like Hey Jude, probably.
Oh,
That would probably be the
That's a
best
great answer.
one that I could think of.
that's a great
It
answer.
just makes me feel a lot of great things, like different great things throughout the course of it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more real question for you, and then we'll go into rapid fire.
Okay.
Are you ready? Last one. What's next for Arlie?
Right. What's next for Arlie? Right.
Or
right.
like anything you want to plug. This is just
Anything
your
I wanna
space to
plug?
do it.
Oh my god, can I pee first?
I have to pee so bad.
Great.
Okay. After our third intermission. We've been
Right.
recording for a long time.
Yeah,
And the audience
time
is going to
flies.
hear about probably 20 minutes of it.
Yeah. Good.
So what's next for Arlie?
What's next for Arlie? Well, we're gonna do some mastering. We're gonna make some music videos, probably a lot with our friend
Fun.
Sam, who we've
Hi,
done
Sam.
almost all the videos with. Shouts to Sam Boyette. And especially because of quarantine, we'll probably be doing a lot with Sam. We also are just gonna do I just am not that into live streams, I have to be honest.
I get it.
I'm just never have found a single live stream compelling.
That's a valid opinion.
And so I just want to do something more interesting than that.
Then what's it
But
going to
I
be?
don't know what yet. So
Okay.
we just
So
have
stay
to be
tuned.
creative.
Follow, what's your at Arlie Band?
At Arlie Band, at Nathaniel Banks is another account of mine. Both of them we've not posted in over a year, maybe a year and a half.
little
But we
social
are
media
still
break.
alive.
You're still alive.
So next for Arlie is mastering and telling the internet that we're alive,
Okay.
and maybe some sort of backstory.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's
Um,
great.
And then we're gonna start on our plan to change the world. I just want people to experience these songs in the closest way possible to the way that I experienced them when I first wrote them.
Well, in the meantime, listen to what they have out. We've got an EP. We've got a couple singles, right?
Uh-huh.
All I know is that Big Fat Mouth is one of the best songs ever, so you should listen to it. I'll post it on the Instagram account. Big Fat Mouth, good. EP, amazing. Now I have
Thumbs
rapid
up.
fire questions for you.
Rapid fire, go.
Are you ready? You don't have to answer them in rapid fire, because people often struggle, even though I don't think they're that hard. So,
Great.
number 1, what's your favorite song at the moment?
At the moment, rapid fire, go. Any song. Tiptoe through the tulip. First song that came into my head.
Don't feel pressure to answer these fast.
Okay, fine. Real favorite song at the moment. Dark and Handsome, Witch's Blood Orange, and Toro y Moi.
Oof, so good.
Yeah. You know that
What a
one?
collab. I do.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2, what's the best concert you've ever been to?
Probably. I mean, as an emotional experience, being 13-year-old watching Cage the Elephant and Alice in Chains and
Yep.
DC 101 Chili Cook-Off.
Uh-huh.
As far as the actual musicianship and the concert playing, it would probably be Jacob Collier at Bonnaroo at 2018.
Nice.
I was just
Okay.
had no idea who he was.
He's very
And
talented.
before he started just being the thing that everyone's talking about, just heard this thing coming from this tent when we were in between walking from Chance the Rapper over to Bad Bad Not Good.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hear this other interesting thing, and we walk over to it, and it's Jacob Collier playing 7 instruments at the same time.
And you
and
said
just,
hello.
Pure joy coming out of his mouth.
That's
And
incredible.
it was,
He's very talented. I don't know much of him, but I see him everywhere. It's one of those things, you know? Okay, last one. Last rapid fire. Are you ready?
Last rapid fire, go.
Yeah. If you could collab with one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Dead or alive, Jesus.
Okay, that's a great answer.
Rapid fire.
That's a great answer. Nathaniel, thank you for being on my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
And I just want to say to the people, I'm sorry.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Well, thank you. This is good.
I liked how your end of your first podcast was whoever's out there listening to this, I am probably in love with you.
Because I am.
That was good.
It's true. Is it not the truth? I am.
Yeah.
I'm probably in love with every single person that listens to this, whether I know you or not.
I think that's a good quality. Justin Long.
Yeah.
This could be your big break. Just saying.
That's it?
You might learn something about yourself that you didn't even know that you needed to learn that will change your life.
And that's it. Justin Long, be on my podcast.
Justin Long, please be on her podcast.
That was such a kind ending.